Hello everyone, I am very excited and honored to present my paper with the title of Transition from Conventional Occupation of Rural Population and Effects on Rural Morphology, a case study of Rafan village, presented by Aligarh Syed, Muaaz, Mohd Kashif, Rashad Anwar, Ilma and Ilma Nafiz from Jamia Millia Islamia University. So the aim of the paper is to analyze the establishment of traditional villages in India, their occupational mobility and the availability of the resources. The study also connect the economic transition pattern through its morphology. It will also help to examine the flux from agrarian to urban occupation. This factor reflects the habitat and community establishment in various categories and fields through architecture and urban planning and rural settlement. So the overview of the village. Now coming to the overview of the village, Rafan village with an overall population of 1355 is the 110th least populous village in Uttar Pradesh located in Mawana sub-district, Meerut. So the total geographical area of Rafan village is 2 km per square, which is 648 persons per kilometer. The rich fertile land surrounding the village cultivates crops like wheat, sugarcane, and rice mustard. Rafan village has 2 schools and a cardboard factory running near to it. So the objective of our paper is to analyze the effect of industrialization on the Indian rural settlement and to study the mobility between the resource and the settlement morphology, and to study the social economical factors binding and dividing the settlement, and to find out the factors that had influenced the settlement. So now coming to the methodology, we have selected the site according to the many reasons and factors, and then we have identified the problems and solutions to it. We collected data, and then we distributed data into 2 sectors, which is primary data and the secondary data. So in primary data, we have done a site visit in 2020 last year, and we did many observations. We interviewed people, make case studies, and taking videographings and photographings. And in secondary data, we have collected the books and articles. We have read many papers and book chapters, and extracted data from Google and government websites. So the location of the Rafan village is at the 3 km distance from the headquarter Mawana, and is 25 km distance from Meerut city. So now coming to the connectivity and accessibility of the Rafan village is the nearest metro station, which is 25 km from the Rafan village, is the Rola railway station. Since the paper mill was established, the connection between the village and the city strengthened, which promoted many small businesses alongside the arterial road. As a result of the vehicular flux increases, in many ways promote eatery stalls and dhabas alongside the road. Consequently, it increases the footfall and many small businesses started to flourish. So, and then gradually many training institutes also started to appear alongside the road, and as a result of the better accessibility and the economical land price as compared to the city center, which in turn promoted many activities and opportunities and paved the way for village development. As a consequence of these activities and opportunities, we have one drawback, which is the village lost its vernacular identity and culture. So now we have road network which can be demarcated through legends. Now coming to second point, which is demographics. So the village demographics is very important to analyze the literacy ratio and the sex ratio, which is also effect on our study, which have a profound effect on our study. So the village have 1355 people, among 725 are male and 630 are female, and the whole population of 1355 of them is 63% of the general caste, and 37% are from the scheduled caste. So we have 224 households in the village, and an average of 6 people live in every family. So we have sex ratio, which is extracted from 2011 census, and 869 females per 1,000 male. And coming to the literacy, we have a total of 910 people in the village are literate among at certain level, and among them are 555 are male and 359 are female. The literacy rate of the Rafan is 77%, 88% of male and 65% of female population are literate. The overall literacy rate in the village has increased to 7% from 2001 to 2011. Coming to Rafan's work profile is 32% of the 440 of the total population is engaged in either in the main or marginal work, and 55% male and 6% female population are working population, and they are all like they are mostly working in the paper mill and the training institutes. Now coming to the transportation, we have no nearest national highways in less than 10 kilometers and nearest state highway in less than 10 kilometers. Coming to the village settlement patterns, so the village was evolved around an old temple, which is located near the heart of the old village. If I say that, and from that the people started to build their houses near the temple and around it, and the village is like a nucleated village because the settlement is clustered around the temple, which is marked in red, as you can see, and gradually people started to settle along the road for the better accessibility it provided. The village grew in all directions and further expanding along the road which connected the village to the Mawana. Resources, we have two resources, mainly the agriculture and industrial resources. So earlier was the agricultural resources was the primary resource, and industrial resource, which established after 1980 because of the Rafan paper mill, and has drastically changed the life of the villagers, and it put direct influence on the people of the village. It was accompanied by many amenities, after 1980 establishment of Rafan paper mill. It has accompanied by many amenities like road, electricity, and give employment to the villagers. So the villagers turned from agriculture and started working the Rafan paper mill. And many scheduled caste, poor villages who do not have land for agriculture and do not have much skills to work started from the mill. Now I would like to call Mohd Kashif to further continue the presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Haris, for the brief introduction what we have studied and research about Rafan village. Now coming to the resources. So Sangal Papers Limited, located in Mawana, India, is a paper manufacturing unit incorporated in 1980 by Sangal family. All the products manufactured from 100% recycled grade of waste paper. Mill has added a lot of specialized grade of products to its product portfolio and has increased its capacity to current level of 36,000 ton per annum. Now coming to the settlement pattern with respect to this resources, an alternate possible reason for the settlement to expand is the paper mill, which was incorporated in 1980 by a single family limited. Before the paper mill was established, the village was very remote and disconnected from any major district like Mamana and Hastinapur, and the major source of income was agriculture. People used to pull carts and tanga for transportation. The building material that was used earlier was mud, bamboo, and timber and straw. However, gradually as urbanization progressed, it came with the connectivity to nearby cities and districts. In addition, as a resource and source of transportation, it helped in changing the building material from traditional to contemporary as it became feasible due to easy movement. Building material changed from mud, straw to cement bricks. As most of the houses in the village turned into conventional concrete houses that gain more heat than traditional houses, and as a result, the villagers switched to electrical appliances to remain adaptive to the rural settlement. Now coming to the road network with respect to habitat and resources, as you can see in the attached picture, the pattern was very clear to its settlement of the village. Like the satellite image shows the village and its nearby surrounding. The village is surrounded by agriculture field and a pond nearby. When population increased gradually, the need for a school emerged, which then was provided by the government. We can see the village image and the legend, where we can see the green area demarcated by the circle is our village, and the red one demarcated by circle is the resources, that the paper mill, and the road network is marked by yellow, and we have pond in between marked with the blue. Now coming to the dependency diagram with respect to resources, reading the diagram from left to right shows which element depends on how many elements and of how much extent. For example, villagers heavily depend on the paper mill for employment, and the paper mill is also heavily dependent on the villagers as a main force. Reading the diagram from top to bottom shows the dependency vice versa. Now coming to the diagram, so we can take road network as an example with respect to used paper for recycle. So we have the hierarchy of colors, like the dark green color showing the stronger dependency, the light green color showing the moderate dependency, and the color of grass green showing the low dependency. So if we see the picture of dependency diagram, we will see road network with respect to use paper for recycle. We will see the moderate dependency, like we use road and transportation for medium to basically provide the raw material for the paper mill. Now coming to the results and discussion, what we have studied in our paper, the settlement earlier was clustered around the temple and it expanded as a sprawl in all directions. However, the rural settlement morphology changed when the paper mill was established alongside the village, which in turn attracted the workforce from the surrounding villages. This made this settlement expand from 40 to 50 houses to 225 houses in a very short span of time. The agrarian sector of village who didn't possess any property or own a land shifted from agricultural activities for better opportunities and stable income resources. As paper mill was established and people gradually migrated from surrounding villages to obtain permanent source of income, unlike what they get in agrarian sector as a seasonal payment as per the crop production. As a result of this transformation, a type of circular economy was originated, which revolves around industries, and subsequently many small businesses started to flourish around the paper mill factory. Before industrialization occurred, the local use of vernacular materials, of construction as temporary material were inaccessible and high in cost due to transportation and labor charges. But the gradual industrialization came with the connectivity to nearby cities and districts, and the use of contemporary material increased because of the road network connectivity. People from other villages started to settle nearby the paper mill for getting better connectivity, living standard, and employment and other facility. That's how we can see the drastic change in the rural morphology of Rafan village. The conclusion that we have derived from our study is the study promotes the chance to evaluate the idea of amalgamation of agrarian and industrial sector, the integration of both the occupation and achieve a balance between both. The case study evaluates and highlights the significant issue that drastically changes the life of villagers and put indirect influence on the people. And industrialization accompanied with many amenities such as connectivity, employment, and electricity is good, but it seizes the natural vernacular characteristic of rural village, as we study and see in Rafan case. As most of the houses in the village turned into conventional concrete houses, which gain more heat than traditional houses, as we observe. As a result, villagers switched to electrical appliances to remain adapted. So most villagers turned from agrarian sector and started working in the Rafan paper mill, since paper mill provided them a better source of income to sustain their that lifestyle, basically, which they have shifted from the rural to the contemporary. More people from the village were inclined to work in the paper factory, and this made the settlement to expand from 40 to 50 houses to 225 houses. Created and sources. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Haris.